Hey, it's Savannah, and today we're going over all things hurricanes. We're going to go over how to classify them, what the data actually says, and then how to prepare your home and your family for when one hits. Let's go. So let's talk categories. There's tropical storm, and then it goes Cat 1. That's when it becomes an actual hurricane by definition. Then Cat 2, 3, 4, and 5. In recorded history from the mid-1800s and beyond, only 3 Category 5s have even hit the state of Florida. According to NOAA, these are the 4 main hazards associated with hurricanes. Number 1, storm surge. Number 2, heavy rainfall and inland flooding. Number 3 are high winds and subsequent rip currents. And number 4 are tornadoes. Usually the tornadoes are in the rain bands and occasionally will be in the wall, but really they're short-lived and not too big of a concern. So where do hurricanes hit? Right here is a snapshot of an interactive map from NOAA, and I'm going to link it below if you want to track the severity and the trajectory over the last couple hundred years. But the overall answer is that they hit right in the bottom of the peninsula and up into the panhandle. So if you're tucked here in Central Florida or you're up near the Florida-Georgia line, typically you're going to be okay. We're kind of buffered against most hurricanes for the brunt of it, because hurricanes use water to gain power. So the further they get inland, the less power they have because the less water they're able to stir up. Let's talk building codes. Building codes are broken down into 2 zones in the state of Florida. The first zone is along the Atlantic and along the Gulf of Mexico and down into Miami. That's because they're way more susceptible to high winds and storm surges. Orlando is in zone 2 because we are less susceptible to high winds and severe hurricane damage. Okay, now we're gonna talk about tips to prepare your home and your family for a hurricane. First, get flood insurance. Floods can happen even if you're not in a FEMA flood zone, so it's better safe than sorry. The next thing is pretty simple. It's trim your trees. Make sure no overhanging branches are over your house or no dead trees are still growing. If it looks dead, get a tree professional to cut it down. The next thing is to paint your house. So about every 8 years or so, you want to repaint your entire house because it'll seal any hairline cracks that are going on. Okay, I hear a lot of people talk about generators. You can definitely get one. When power's out, it's usually not out for too long. I think they're a great investment, but you don't need to buy a $10,000 one to get you by during a hurricane. Make sure you get one that works for your budget. The last thing, which I'm about to go into, is to make sure your hurricane kit is up to date. About once a year, just make sure you go in there, make sure the battery packs are fresh, that the water's good, the non-perishables haven't perished, because it does happen. Things to put into your hurricane kit: water, toilet paper, I have a first aid kit, batteries and flashlights, maybe some candles and lighters. And if you've got kiddos, put some fun things in there. And I'll put a link below to a list of these items from the National Hurricane Service. Now I'm going to tell you what to do when you hear that hurricane warning. Secure your property. If you've invested in hurricane shutters, now is the time to get those prepared. The next thing is to get sandbags. If you don't have sandbags readily available, or if everywhere is sold out, there are humanitarian efforts around the counties that you're in that probably will provide them for free. The next thing is place projectiles inside your garage or inside your home. Okay, this is one that a lot of people forget about or don't understand why we do it, and that's fill up your bathtubs. Put that stopper in and fill it up a couple days before the hurricane hits. This is because you probably won't be able to flush your toilet. So this water in the bathtub is able to be scooped up, poured into the back of the tank of the toilet, and then you can flush. We may not have snow days here like you're used to up north, but we do have hurricane days, so your kids will be really used to that. And again, most of the time, the worst thing that happens during a hurricane is that you get really full because you eat all your hurricane snacks way too early. You get a ton of warning ahead of time, unlike earthquakes and tornadoes. You really do know what to prepare for and when to prepare for it. Clearly, when it comes to hurricanes, the millions of Florida residents think that it's worth the risk to live here, and I think you will too. I'm so excited for your move, and I can't wait to serve you. See you later.